Let's head into the papers now, see what the headlines are. We have joining me via Skype, analyst Obaniyi Akinwale. Obaniyi, good morning. It's good to have you join me right now.
Good morning, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Great. Now, let's begin with the Daily Trust. Daily Trust newspaper is where we're starting from. National Assembly Committee begin consideration of revised 2020 budget today. And Salah break will not affect the passage. And the Senate President is saying this. And January to December timeline achievable. Experts are saying this. All right. From there, let's go to the News Direct. A COVID-19 curfew. NMA directs doctors to sit at home over police arrest. Essential workers remain exempted from curfew. The IGP is saying this. And 8 doctors test positive in Zamfara. Nigeria records 284 new cases. Total infections now 6,677. Certainly, when we open discussion, I guess this story will interest Obaniyi to make comments on. From there, let's go to the Blueprint newspaper. Almajiri's return to home state. Northern governors defy federal government, insist the process continues. And revealed the region has 54% COVID-19 cases and 70% new ones. All right, 8 doctors test positive in Zamfara. And on curfew, sit at home, Lagos NMA tells members. Okay, that from the Blueprint, let's go to the Leadership newspaper. Breakthrough as China develops COVID-19 drug without vaccine. And new drug shortens recovery time for infected persons, offers short-term immunity against virus, and to be ready late 2020. In global coronavirus, fiscal support hits $9 trillion. IMF is revealing this, and Etsunupe urges prayers for divine intervention. That's what you see on the front page of the Leadership newspaper. And the last one we're looking at now is the national economy. Naira speculators will lose. BDC operators won. Okay, that's what you see on the front page of the National Economy newspaper. All right, Obaniyi, let me come to you on this. The story on the front page of the News Direct is quite touching there. At least there has been reports of police initially harassing medical workers and even journalists following the directive to, following the curfew. I wonder what you make of this as NMA is threatening to down tools, because this is not just happening in Lagos alone. In some parts of the country as well, we hear reports of NMA, the Nigerian Medical Association, threatening to call their members to stay at home.
Good morning once again, Mike. You begin to ask yourself whether we have two Federal Republic of Nigeria and whether we have two positions where the executive power is vested. You begin to ask yourself whether there is a confusion before the fact that you have Nigerian police force. There's a presidential directive, and I believe the Mr. IG himself is an appointee of the federal government, of the executive, let me put it that way, ratified by the National Assembly. And there was a directive, according to the PTF chairman, in person of the SGF, who happens to be the secretary to the government of the Federation, saying that essential workers are allowed to move because of the nature of their services. But it saddens our heart that the level of high-handedness that you begin to find with Nigerian police recently is becoming alarming. You recall there was a documentary done by Adedoja Salam trying to see how people are crossing borders, how they are tipping some security agencies and what have you. I would have been very, very happy if the IG, the police hierarchies, were enforcing to ensure that the corrupt one among police officers are dealt with when they ask them to enforce full interstate lockdown. But you begin to get amazed when you find out that medical doctors, journalists are being harassed, are being detained. I watched the report from Ivy Kanu where she was detained for 2 hours in police cell. This is a woman that has been trailing police activities, doing pro bono services to ensure that the police is being heard, give them the freedom of speaking, give them the channel, and yet the DPO of Alaus or wherever thought it right to put them and some of our colleagues behind at police station over there. So if NMA is down tooling, you can't ask for anything more. If people are risking their family, they are risking their resources, They are risking their life to put the nation forward. The journalists are going out there to ensure that the government information is being disseminated as I went due. And yet you still have this crop of police officers that will not enforce the directive of Mr. President. You ask yourself, do we have two chief CNC in Nigeria? If President Muhammadu Buhari is the Grand Commander of the Federal Republic and he has vested that power in Mr. Babashir Lawal, I don't see any reason whether any IG or whether any Chief of Defense Staff will counter such directive from their boss. And again, I don't think that it is right if the police will not sanction this errant officer. It should not be the IG said this today, the IG said that tomorrow. I am sure that IG also report to Police Service Commission, and there is a board set up to ensure that if something is done wrongly, IG is not above the law. The commissioner is not above the law. If they are supposed to be law enforcement agencies and there's a directive by their boss to enforce, and they are countering that instruction, you ask yourself, how do they want Nigerians to ensure that they obey the laws and order as supposed to be put in place by police? So if you ask me, as a human being, I am 100% supporting the activity of the NMA. And even if NUJ want to go on strike, I will support them. If NPA want to go on strike, I will support them. Government needs to put their house in order. You recall vividly, earlier there was a time newspapers were being harassed, they were being locked up and what have you. Now we have a situation whereby the police will not listen to the directive and instructions from the principals. So this has to stop, and the federal government has to come out hard to ensure that the IG, the Commissioner of Police, the area commanders, the DPOs are not C in C. The C in C still remain in the person we voted for, in person of President Muhammadu Buhari, and whatever instruction he gave must be carried out, and whoever violates those instructions must be sanctioned. And it's not that you are raising query. We must know that people are being punished for their offense.
All right. Now the point there is, a lot of persons have seen this as a huge embarrassment to the government one way or the other, because certainly the police is an agent or agency of the government. Even at times of war, full-blown war, health workers are always exempted, and it becomes an issue of a war crime or crimes against humanity, depending on how you see it, if you attack a hospital or a clinic or a health worker, even at the time of war. Now, for this to happen, would you, some persons have said that it was an issue of breakdown in appropriate communication within the system. What would you say to that?
It's not a breakdown, it's a total collapse. You find out, so you ask yourself, the current set of IGs, the current set of commissioners, where were they trained? When people were being sent to Kuru just to go for strategic courses, administrative courses, what are their actions to it? People rather want to be on the street to carry guns. So the policing, as it were, is not what people want to do, but they want to. Once you're wearing black and you are carrying gun and you have a red logo or a eagle logo, you begin to show that you are everybody. Sometimes you find out that our security officers, when they are in civilian uniforms, they behave like human beings. But whenever they put on their personnel uniform, you discover that they begin to arrogate to themselves the power of CNC. Who trained this crop of officers? What is the training? When last have you been training handling human being? What is policing? Is this how policing is done everywhere in the world? Is this same effort used in taking those that are crossing borders from Lagos to all those Almajiri that cross border from Kaduna to Lagos? Are there no police formations until they get to those borders? So it is not about the breakdown of law and order. Police were supposed to enforce law and order. Now, if the same police are breaking the law of the CNC, then how much more do you now enforce a citizen to obey the police? Let me tell you something, either you like it or not. The reason why people will continue to respect every other part of the military outside the police is that discipline and enforcement of orders are order of the day. If a captain gives an order, you dare not see any lower rank officer misbehaving on such orders. But why is it that at every point in time there's an order from IG, from commissioner, you have inspectors, police DPOs disobeying these orders, not to talk of orders from the president himself? So it's high time we begin to review the academic and the curriculum policies of what they are being taught at police college. We need to look at how are we being recruited. Is it the recruiter that recruit 10,000 people, take them to police college in 6 months, count them out and say they are police when you have not worked on their psychology, their psychic? How many times do they do mental tests for our police officers? Do they do emotional intelligence testing? Do they have psychological balances? Is their salary well paid? So if you don't have this crop of people that are mentally stable and psychologically stable, and they understand what are their responsibilities, you begin to have to know about the law. The people that are supposed to hold to the law are the ones that are now breaking the law. So for me, what police has just shown us is what we keep saying, that is a replica of what Nigerian system is. If a C gives an order and a police officer somewhere decided to violate that order, and that police officer is not brought to book, you find out that another person will do it, and there's something you call antecedent or precedent. So you look at it that somebody has done it before. What did you do? So if a Yaya do it in Lagos and Obaniyi do it in Maiduguri, why should there be different law to treat Obaniyi from that of Yaya? And if you look at it, even the holistic as a nation, when President Buhari said this is what we are going to lock down in the next 2 weeks, Rivers has come out with his own policy. Borno has come out with his own policy. Gombe has come out with his own policy. Yes. Lagos has his own policy. Then, yes, they are federating units, but what is the place of C&C?
Okay. Obaniyi Akinwale, thank you so much for your time. We have to leave you here right now. Thank you. We really appreciate you. Thank you.